Hello ladies, welcome to day 2 of this training. Welcome. I'm gonna give you guys a few minutes to pop in live with me. I'm excited for today. So, real quick, if you don't know me yet, my name is Malia. Me and my sister Amanda run a business together called Sisters That Stray, and I run a signature program called Radiant Relationship Academy. And this program, Radiant Relationship Academy, is for women who want to have better relationships, who really want to attract a committed, healthy, long-lasting, sustainable relationship, and for women who really know there's some work to be done in order to do that. And that's what we're really getting into today, is this myth of it'll just happen, right? So I really work with women who are self-responsible and have this mindset of, okay, I get it, what I've been doing isn't working, I need to shift some things and change these patterns so that I can attract this type of relationship into my life that I really, really desire. So if you haven't done day 1 yet, you definitely want to do that. Don't leave and go anywhere. But if you haven't done that, you definitely want to do day 1, because day 1 is a huge shift we need to make to make any of this possible. It's kind of the groundwork, the foundation that we need to do, and it's an ongoing practice of really shifting and releasing and embodying belief systems that really allow us to attract the type of relationship we want. So really quickly, a little bit about me and the work I do and how I do this work and what it's all about is, what I've done is I've studied these concepts for about 7 years now, since I went through a really heartbreaking and toxic divorce that really sent me down to a place of how do I rebuild from here? How do I actually experience relationships in a healthy way? So from that point, I've basically been studying these concepts of relationships. And so what I've done is I've weaved together the philosophy and the psychology of relationships and intimacy with embodiment, so we can move it through the body in this trauma-informed way, using somatics, which is basically the body, working with the body, so that it's really anchored into our body. It's not just these concepts that live in the mind, and this is how I get really sustainable results for the women that I work with. So, and really my purpose here in this training and the program I run, all the teachings that I share with you, it's not to get you engaged or married really quickly or as fast as you can get into a relationship. That's really not what it's about. I want to give you the tools and the practices that you need to have sustainable results, to have lifelong changes, to be in your body, to be a magnetic, feminine, empowered woman, so that you can attract this relationship that you desire. But it doesn't stop there, right? When we attract that relationship, that's just part 1, and then there's lots of work to do in the relationship. So this training today and all the work that I do is so that you can have these sustainable, long-lasting results of being in your body, knowing what's true for you, knowing how to speak your desires, knowing what you desire, giving that to yourself, and asking that from a partner. So that's a little bit about me and what I do. And so if any of this really resonates with you today, if you're feeling in your body like, yes, I need this, I need more of this, the best way to continue this work together would be to book a call with me, to get on a discovery call with me. This is a 1-hour deep dive with me. I really get in there with you to look at what is holding you back. What are your patterns? What do you need to shift in order to have the type of relationship, the love that you really, really desire, to really attract that partner into your life? So that's what we do on the call, and then we look at if you would be a good fit for the program. And if you are, you can ask me any questions. We could see how we can best work together, and then if you're a great fit, I'll invite you in and we'll move on from there. So I'll put that link attached to this training. If you're really, really resonating and you want to talk more about this and see if that could be a good fit for you, book that call with me. So really quickly, before we really dive in, I just want to cover who this is really for. so that you can know, okay, I'm in the right place. This is relatable to me. I need to be here. I'm in the right place. So one, if you are in a relationship and it's not completely fulfilling, it is not filling your cup, you're not feeling on fire, you're not feeling that spark, that passion, the communication isn't there, you're in the same fight cycles, right? There's something missing in the relationship and you really want to work on it. That's one. Two, you might be in a relationship that's great. You might think it's like, this is healthy, I think this is good. And still you know that relationships are a container for growth, so I need to keep working on myself and this relationship in order for it to be sustainable and really, really solid and full of fulfillment and intimacy. Okay, so that's two. And then three would be if you're single, right? So you're in a space where you're single and you know there's some healing work, some inner work that you need to do in order to attract that love and relationship into your life. And maybe you don't even want the relationship right now because you know, I really need to work on myself. Or you might be like, yes, I'm hungry for it. I really, really want it. So that would be who this is for. If you raised your hand to any of that, you're in the right place. Also, if you're just really, really ready to stop, to break free of these patterns, right? You can see that I'm in the same pattern. I'm attracting the same type of person into my life, and that's no longer working for me. Also, if you have some sort of sense of self-responsibility, like I said, I only work with women who are self-responsible, who are ready to take action, who are ready to make the necessary changes. I cannot do this work for you. I will give you the tools and the practices and the guidance and the support. But again, the myth we're busting today, it will not just happen. It's not how this world works. But I will give you everything you need so that you can do the work to experience these changes. Okay? So let's dive in. Let's bust this myth. So what we're going to be talking about today is, of course, this myth that it'll just happen, right? This relationship, I'm just going to sit back and this relationship is going to just fall into my lap. It'll just happen, right? Like, I don't need to do anything. I'm just going to mind my business and the relationship's going to happen. False. We're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about what this missing ingredient, the secret ingredient to trusting yourself is, right? The biggest block I see in women that I work with is, one, not trusting themselves because having a track record of attracting the wrong people and ignoring the red flags, right? And then not forgiving themselves. We're gonna really dive deep into forgiveness and trusting yourself. We're gonna talk about being in the body, which is the feminine, versus being in the head, the logical, which is the masculine. So we're going to talk about those dynamics. We're going to talk about self-sabotage. If you are sabotaging yourself right now, if you're sabotaging a relationship, if that's one of your patterns, and how to overcome that, and what's really at the core of that. And so at the end of this training today, you are going to have a totally recharged, revitalized, renewed love in yourself at your core, and also the confidence in yourself, a recharged confidence of like, I got this, like I have the tools, I know what to do to move forward. So I also want to be really mindful of where you're at right now, right? I want to meet you where you're at, and I'm aware that you might be in a place where you really don't trust yourself. You really are in those same patterns, and you're in this place of like, wow, I really don't have any trust in myself that I will be able to say no when the red flag appears or attract the type of person I really want into my life. So I'm aware of that. And also you might be holding on to a lot of resentment of the way you've acted in the past, of all the times you wish you had just spoken up for yourself, of being treated really poorly and letting yourself being walked all over. So there might be some resentment in there as well. And then also, you know, being in this pattern of attracting a partner into your life and being like, oh yeah, this is good, I think we're on the right path. And then they start to show who they're really at, who they really are. So their actions are no longer matching up with their words, and it's just like disappointment, right? So not trusting yourself, that resentment, blaming yourself, self-sabotage, being in those patterns. So I'm mindful that that could be where you're at right now. And so just to kind of give us an overview here, what I see happening, again, I work with women around this every single day. I'm on discovery calls with women, really understanding where you're at so that I can serve you best. And so what I see happening is we allow ourselves to stay in this cycle. So we go to therapy for years and years and years because we think that's what we're supposed to do, which again, I've mentioned this, I'm not I'm not bashing therapy by any means. I believe in therapy. I think it's great, but there's this missing piece in therapy, which is the embodiment piece. And so we go to therapy for years and years and years, and you're not seeing any actual changes in your life, in your relationship, and it's keeping you in the same cycle. You're repeating the same story over and over and over. And so again, I do believe in therapy in a way, right? Like it is missing that embodiment piece, and talking about it can be a relief, but I'm also betting that nothing has stuck. Nothing has really changed for you. You're still in those same patterns. And so what happens now is the anxiety just continues to get worse and worse and worse. That anxiety, that self-doubt, your self-worth and your self-confidence just continue to get lower. And then really just having no trust in yourself. And so the harsh truth is, what happens is we keep going through, we keep pushing everything down, suppressing everything, pushing it all down and moving through the motions, hoping something's going to change, and nothing's changing. And so that's when it starts to feel hopeless. And so the good news is, I do have good news. The solution that I'm going to share with you today, it's actually really, really simple. Like we talked about yesterday, this is actually really simple. It's all about returning to the basics, returning to the body. And there's no huge mountain to climb here. You don't have to relearn anything to trust yourself or to forgive yourself. It's just returning to the body, listening to the intuition, slowing down, dropping into the feminine, coming into the body, looking at your emotions. And so it does take some relearning, yes, but it's not like we're learning something totally new here, because it's just the body. This is actually really primal. This is actually our essence at the core of us. It's just coming back to the body. The body's already always been here, and just listening, slowing down, reconnecting, which I'm going to teach you today. So before we really, really dive in, I want to just drop into the body together. So I'm going to play some music for us and guide us through a little bit of breath, a little bit of movement, just to come into the body, to fully arrive, right? So we're not completely in the mind. The mind is going crazy. It's busy. I know it's the middle of the day. There's things to do. There's people to talk to. There's all the things, right? So we're going to allow that to just slow down and feel into the body, see what's present for you today, and then we'll move on from there. So wherever you're at right now, just coming into a comfortable position. Maybe you're sitting in a chair, sitting on the ground, sitting on a pillow, even standing. And just close down the eyes. Begin to breathe really slow, long breaths. So in through the nose, out through the mouth. In through the nose, out through the mouth. Now on the inhale, rock forward just slightly, gently through the pelvis. Inhale, extend the heart space. Exhale, gently rock back on the tailbone. Exhale through the mouth. Now on the inhale, draw the breath up from the womb all the way to the heart. Breathe into the heart. Exhale, roll back. Drop the breath into the womb space. Inhale into the heart. Exhale into the womb. Exhale, roll forward. Inhale into the heart. Exhale, roll back. Breathe into the womb. Inhale, forward, heart. Exhale, roll back into the womb. And let out a sigh if that feels good on your exhale. We're going to start to bring both hands to the womb and just bring little circles into the hips. So you want to have really soft, open hips here, and the breath will help you to do that. You can even open the jaw and relax it a few times. If we relax the jaw, that helps to relax the hips. So really slow movements here. You're moving the core, the spine, the hips, really bringing some spaciousness. So inhale, rock forward. Exhale, roll back. And again, inhale, rock forward, rolling through the hips. Exhale back. On the inhales, you can breathe into the heart. Exhales, let the breath drop into the womb. Switch directions if you haven't already. Just begin to feel any emotions that are present in your body today. So really feeling into the body, and you can let your body move intuitively here and just see what's present for you. See what emotions are present. If you need to move in a certain way to release any tension in the body. I have some soreness, some stiffness at my shoulders. And just allow your body to move fluidly. So you're not thinking about it too much. You're just breathing and allowing the body to lead. Breathing deeply, fully. Beautiful. Keeping your eyes closed here. Eyes are closed. You can still move the body if that feels really nice for you today. I'm going to invite you to just take a moment to really feel into what your life would be like if you were in a truly loving, healthy, supportive, committed relationship. A relationship where you feel like you're on the same team. A relationship that's wildly intimate. A relationship where you feel like you can really bare your heart, share your emotions, and in return you'll have the space held for you, the presence held for you. So feeling into that as I share this, just be present with what's happening in your body. How does that feel in your body to imagine a life where you're already in this relationship? This is possible for you. This is attainable. This is accessible. So a life where you no longer attract emotionally unavailable, uncommitted, wishy-washy partners, but rather a life where you receive the love, the patience, the acceptance that you truly desire. Where you feel empowered and confident in this relationship and within yourself, where you trust yourself and have such a deep love for yourself. Just sitting in that for another moment here. Feeling what emotions arise in your body. And as you feel ready, you can begin to open your eyes, blinking your eyes gently open, and maybe shaking through the arms, through the hands, releasing any emotions or any tension or any stuck energy in the body, moving around a little bit. And just sit in that for a moment. As I shared that with you, really bringing into your awareness what it would feel like, what it would be like, what it would feel like in your body to experience that. understand that that is available to you at any time. You can drop into that at any time. And the more you drop into that, the more you're making yourself available for that. If we sit in this reality, like we talked about yesterday with the beliefs, if we sit in this reality of this isn't possible for me, it's not happening for me, I'm stuck in these patterns, nothing's going to change for me, that's what we're making available for ourselves. But if we sit in this reality and this feeling in our body that it is possible for me, in fact, it's already happening. It's that accessible, it's already happening. That's what we are available for. That's how we really magnetize it and draw it in. That's how powerful the body is. That felt sense. So, touching on forgiveness, a lot of times women say to me, of course I haven't forgiven my ex for the way he treated me, or of course I haven't forgiven myself for being in that situation. And we feel like it's this thing we have to hold on to, because if we release that, if we forgive the ex, if we forgive ourselves, then we're letting them off the hook, right? Like basically they get off the hook because we've forgiven them and like let it move on. And so the thing about forgiveness is it's not about forgiving your ex. It's really not. That's not what it's about. I'm not going to sit here and tell you you need to forgive your ex right now. What I am going to sit here and tell you is that you do need to forgive yourself. That's where it starts. All of this starts with yourself. So what I am going to ask you to do is to have that compassion over yourself, to forgive yourself. Because when we don't forgive ourselves, for example, for me, I held on to what happened with my ex-husband for a very long time, and I held on to so much hatred for him, for doing that, for myself, for letting myself be in the situation. And so what happened is when I entered new relationships, I would ignore the red flags. Because deep down, I didn't believe in myself and my body that I was worth more. So my self-worth was so low, I would just let the red flags, just bypass them and be like, everything is fine, whatever. Because I didn't believe in my being that I was worth more. So for example, I talked to a woman yesterday and she was sharing that she has a really open heart, right? So she would, in the past, give partners way too many chances, which is essentially, when we give someone way too many chances, that's essentially ignoring the red flags. It's essentially the same thing. Giving them too many chances, ignoring the red flags. Basically, we're doing the same thing. And what is happening subconsciously is we are telling ourselves, you're not worthy of more. You do not deserve more. Subconsciously, maybe you're not saying that out loud to yourself, but that is what's happening subconsciously, because you ignore the red flag and they treat you badly, they do something that's just totally unacceptable, and you're like, that's okay, we're gonna let it pass, right? You give them another chance. You're telling yourself, oh, you're not worthy of more, you don't deserve better. So then we're living in this reality, this vibration of low self-worth, and I don't deserve more. So we're just gonna keep attracting that, we're gonna not forgive ourselves for it, and we are going to continue to not trust ourselves to do better, to make better decisions, to say no. So that's when we really get into self-sabotage. We self-sabotage ourselves because it feels easier. We start to blame ourselves for these situations in the past, for our past relationships, for ignoring the red flags in the past. We start to blame ourselves for it. So then we sink into and get into this reality of self-sabotage and blaming ourselves. And let me be clear, it is a lot easier to fall into self-sabotage, to blame it on ourselves, to blame it on the men, to blame it on our partners, whatever it is, than it is to take responsibility for ourselves. Because when everything changed for me is the moment I said no more, I see that I play a part in this, so I took responsibility and I chose a different way. I chose to look at my patterns. I chose to say, okay, I see how when I let that go and let that slide in this relationship, that was me having really low self-worth because I never forgave myself. So I'm just like living in this cycle of self-hatred, not forgiving myself, letting everything slide, and then it's sending me lower, lower, lower on the self-worth. So that's why we ignore the red flags, because we don't believe that we're worthy of more, even if it's happening subconsciously. Because you might be sitting here and being like, no, I know I'm worthy of more. I just don't know why I don't say no. But at the root of it, that's what's happening. And it's important for us to know that. It's important, and again, can be very confronting. But it's really about looking at what we're carrying, looking at what's happening, so we can look at it from this place of curiosity and be like, oh, okay, I see how that's all playing out here, and I see how if I could take responsibility for that and really look at that, then things could really shift. Things could really be different. So at the basis of it, when we forgive ourselves, we stop bringing all our old stories, our insecurities, our beliefs that have been holding you back into our new relationships. You see what I'm doing there? So if we don't forgive ourselves, we're bringing all that into the new relationship. So we're bringing this very wounded version of ourselves into this new relationship. So of course it's not going to be different. Of course it's not going to be better. It might be for the first 6 months, but when you really get into it, it will not. So we first have to forgive ourselves, first have to learn how to trust ourselves, rebuild that with ourselves so that when we enter a new relationship, it is different because we know how to navigate it. We've cleared all of that. We're not bringing all our old shit into the new relationship. And so really, again, at the core of it, if we're looking at the core of it, which that's what I'm all about, really digging deep to look at what's under there so that we can make sustainable lifelong changes. When we experience these things in relationships, this is traumatic to the body. Our body thinks that we're in danger. It feels unsafe for the body, so it causes us to disassociate from the body, from the experience. So that's when we become numb, self-sabotage, the blame, all of that happens out here, outside of the body. So when we're living outside of the body, we're not connected to the body, we're not connected to the intuition, to our truth. So of course we don't speak up for ourselves. Of course we ignore the red flags. Of course we let ourselves continue these patterns because we just are in this numb, disassociated state. So it's all about reconnecting. That's why I said at the beginning, we're not climbing this huge mountain here. We're just coming back to the basics. We're coming back to the intuition to restore this connection to the body. And that's why we did a bit of breath and embodiment work just a few minutes ago, because that's what it's all about. Reconnecting there, making a consistent practice to meet yourself and see what's there. What emotions are present for me? What needs are coming up for me? What are my desires? How can I help myself? How can I care for myself? Where do I need to speak up for myself, right? Like we can only be connected to that if we're connected to ourselves. If we're living out here, pleasing everyone else, going through the emotions, suppressing everything, then nothing's gonna change. Nothing's gonna change. So, the really exciting thing about reconnecting to your intuition and really creating that sacred, consistent practice with yourself of connecting to yourself is that when you do that, your boundaries become a lot clearer because your boundaries live inside of your body. I think it's in module 3 inside of Radiant Relationship Academy, we do a practice where you really get inside of your body to discover what does a yes feel like in your body and what does a no feel like in your body. And from that place, it's a lot easier to know what your boundaries are, to know when to say no, to when to say yes. And when you have this awareness of your boundaries, it's a lot easier to speak up for yourself because you can feel it in your body. Oh, this is a no for me. This is not going to work for me. I actually have this need. It's a lot easier because you have this trust and this connection within yourself that you easily speak up for yourself. You easily spot the red flags. You easily can get yourself out of a situation. And when you do that, when you know what to say no to, it creates so much space for what you want to say yes to. So much more space for those committed, masculine, healthy, respectful relationships to come in. Because right now there's no space for it. So when you come back and you're listening to the body and you're living in this way of trusting your body's guidance, you trust yourself. And so when you trust yourself, you easily know who to trust. When you trust yourself, you easily will know who to trust because you're in tune with your body and the guidance and the cues from your body. You can tell within a few interactions or one interaction really with someone, this isn't quite a match for me. There's some big things that are off here. I don't feel uplifted and like totally in my aliveness and my body when I'm with them. That's not a hell yes for me, so that's a no. It becomes a lot easier the more you trust yourself, the more you trust others. And that's the key. That's the key. So it's all about creating that space so you can say yes for more of what you really desire. Okay, so the most important thing I want to kind of nail in today is you don't have to have it all together to start having these healthy relationships, to actually attract the type of person you want into your life. You don't have to have it all figured out. You don't have to have it all together. It's actually really simple. It's just getting back to the basics. But what you do need is a proven process, the step-by-step. Again, this took me 8 years to figure out, and a whole lot of money, a whole lot of trial and error, and I did it the hard way so that I could teach you the easy way. So what you will need is a proven method, which is what we do inside of Radiant Relationship Academy. You'll need guidance and support and mentorship, which is what I offer you. And you will definitely need a community of women who are in the exact same place as you, moving through the same process and obstacles as you. That is what you need. And that's what I offer you inside of Radiant Relationship Academy. And like I said, I did it the hard way and I wouldn't recommend it. I wouldn't recommend it because you'll be stuck in these patterns and it's kind of like you're in this house with 1,000 doors, and maybe you'll open a few doors that might help you out a little bit, but it's a lot of failure and a lot of repeating the same patterns and a lot of getting in these relationships that aren't serving you, when you could just have someone tell you, here are the steps, here's what you need to do, here's how you do it, and I will support you, and then you can have this relationship that is so accessible to you, and you are so deserving of it. So again, the easiest way to get this ball rolling, if you are resonating and you are like, yes, I want this, I'm deserving, I want to claim this throne, I want to claim this relationship reality, the easiest way to get the ball rolling is to book a call with me. Again, on this call, it is a 1-hour deep dive. You and me, we sit down and we really look at what are your patterns, what is holding you back, and what are the steps, the shifts you need to make to start really dropping into the body, to drop into magnetizing and attracting that committed, really, really intimate, healthy relationship into your life. And we'll also on this call look at if Radiant Relationship Academy is the right program for you, if you're the right fit for us, and if you are, we'll get the ball rolling and get you started in the program. So I'll put that link in the training, and if you have any questions, you can reach out to me. Day 3 tomorrow, we'll be doing a little bit more of embodiment work, and it's going to be all about really looking at your needs and desires and pleasure, and really looking at the art of magnetizing. We've talked a little bit about really drawing in and magnetizing, leading from the heart and the womb, as the feminine has so much power. So really, what are the elements that go into this so you can start magnetizing what you really, really desire with ease, right? It's not about go, go, go. It's not about pushing. It's not about hustling to get this relationship. It's about being. It's about being in your body, being in your emotions, being in that yin energy, being in your heart, being in your body, being in your womb, and just effortlessly, truly effortlessly drawing it in. And we're going to talk a bit tomorrow about emotional availability. I've had some questions about this. How do I attract an emotionally available partner into my life? And so we're going to look at that, the biggest thing you need to do in order to attract that into your life. So that is day 3. I'll see you in the same place, same time tomorrow. Let me know if you have any questions about what we covered today, and thanks for joining. Sending you so much love. Can't wait to connect.